It's in vinyl and it has a lot of my artwork, all the original lyrics in there, and the pictures from our music videos. And
yeah,
we actually didn't know if they would sell or not, but because I've never released vinyl before, and you always say that you haven't released them since they stopped using them.
yeah.
So it's kind of a momentous thing for both of us.
And I never had turquoise
That
records
is,
before.
we love opening it. 'Cause it's just like the colors just keep on coming.
I know. Look at that.
It's been so much fun to really share all of our hard work. I mean, we worked really hard on the design of this together as well.
Yeah, a labor of love.
And we went, I mean, what are all the places we went? Should we go in order or should we just pick the ones that come to mind?
I mean, you know, we went
What if
to
we skip one?
Boston and Chicago,
New York.
New York City.
Yeah. I mean, we started in Nashville,
That's right.
technically, North Carolina. And we made the rounds in North Carolina. We definitely did the Charlotte area at the Kane Center.
Yeah, and we did a few pre-release concerts as well out in Twin Falls, Idaho,
Yeah.
and in Montana. But yeah, our launch was really Nashville. We went there. By the way, we're in Charlotte at home right now.
Yes.
We live in Charlotte, North
If you
Carolina.
can't tell, this is our house with all of Mark's amazing instruments. There's actually more that way than away. But actually, a lot of these were on the album.
Yes.
Which is really, really cool, especially these old guitars here.
Actually, yeah, this lineup right here. Well, that's my old Martin Herringbone that this guitar was patterned after. And I use this guitar all over the album, which sounds beautiful. Matter of fact, a lot of this material was inspired, I think, by the sound of our instruments. Maggie's beautiful sounding fiddle.
We even went on the tour when we were in New York City. We'd always go and visit the maker of my violin, Lucas Ronsky. So he got to give it a little checkup. And that's one of my favorite things about traveling is we just get to visit with people. And I kind of wanted to go over, you know, some memories that just pop into your head from the tour. I mean, there were definitely some memorable moments that have never happened before. Like in Nashville, my bow exploded, actually, on live radio.
We were on
WSM.
WSM radio. It's Bill Cody's show.
Yes. Country Coffee and Cody. And Charlie was so awesome, and he even listened to the album ahead of time and did his homework, and it was just such a wonderful interview. And we got to the very end, and we even played 2 songs, and at the end of the Spice of Life was the song we were on, which has a lot of like fast chopping in it, you know, where, you know, like this. And then on the last chop, my bow just explodes. Like all the hair just came out. So that was exciting. It actually looked like we planned it. And there's a video, I posted it on our Instagram and all that. But that was a unique performance.
Yeah, that really was. I'm glad it happened at the very end of the song.
Yeah.
So we got
through
most of
it. Yeah.
Done on the radio.
And luckily I was able to get it fixed. Actually, the maker of my bow lives in Nashville, and he was able to just fix it right up in a couple of hours. And we performed that night at the Vinyl Lounge, which is where we made this vinyl record right here.
They did a great job.
And so we got to do a little showcase date and meet some Nashville folks there.
Well, we played on the Grand Ole Opry while we were there.
That's right. That was cool.
We actually didn't know we were going to do that until about a week before. So we had a bunch of things to do there. We had the radio, we had some television, all the kind of press outlets that our publicist put together, Melissa Matthews from EB Media. And it was a really nice residency of press events.
Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful
That's
showcase.
always,
And there's so much history too that we pull from in the album as well. Like we reference musically a lot of country music. One of my favorite ones is in Something to Love, where you reference Roy Acuff and Brother Oswald there's a lyric called "I'm still singing like that great speckled bird," and so Mark puts a little Brother Oswald riff right after that.
Yeah,
Which is
I think
pretty
it's
cool.
like, well, I actually play it on that guitar, which is the really old Martin. That goes back to 1865, that Martin. And I like, something like that. And I was really kind of vibrating the strings and bending the strings as I was doing it. So it sort of sounded like bashful Brother Oswald on the dobro, playing with Roy Acuff. But Something to Love is a cover we did of Jason Isbell's, one of our favorite songwriters out there. We did a few covers on the album, and then we did a lot of original songs, which is really the impetus for the project. And boy, it's been really cool rolling this out, going back to the Grand Ole Opry. We didn't know we were going to play on that until a week before, because they have to get all their regular members on first, those that want to play that weekend, and then there's all kinds of guests that want to play on the Grand Ole Opry, and I'm sure we're not very high in the pecking order. We're somewhere on there, but because we got on, a week before. And it was a good lineup that night too. Some good friends that were playing.
Ricky Skaggs was there.
Oh yeah, Tommy Emmanuel.
Yeah.
And
Tierra.
Oh yeah.
She was really cool.
Tierra Kennedy. Yeah, several people we know, which is always nice. Kind of like a reunion. Because I used to hang out in Nashville quite a bit. I mean, I lived there for years.
Well, you played at the Opry at the age of 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
We always talk about that on the show too.
Kind of full circle.
We played Faded Love, which was your first debut song.
Bob Wills. We do that in our shows. We do like a journey, like our album release showcase tour definitely featured the new material, but we kind of bookended it with the journey there. And we started off 10 years ago when we met each other playing the two fiddles, and I wasn't even playing guitar back then. And so many experiences since then with our music that's kind of led us to this project, Life After Life. We should say that the Life After Life song, the title track, is a song that I co-wrote with the great Joe Henry, an amazing Americana singer-songwriter. And, there are so many key moments to this project, and without any one of them, I don't know if we would have made it here. In some ways, I don't know if I would have been able to put together all the original songs without co-writing with Joe Henry, because we did 3 together.
Yes, and actually the one that, the first one we released of the singles was We Just Happened to Fly, and it also kind of inspired my artwork for the album too, because we ended up using a lot of flying things, including lunar moths, which became kind of a symbol. They're
hanging around
album, and I even made some origami lunar moths. See, there's the lunar moth on the album. And then one of my favorite parts of the tour too was that we had a little special where we would give away some lunar moths with certain purchases.
Oh, look at that.
Little butterfly moths. And some of them had, Van Gogh or different colored beautiful papers. But if you're out there and you have one of these, I see you.
Well, Maggie's obviously a visual artist. And it was cool releasing some singles before we actually designed the album cover. So that kind of helped guide us, I think. Or actually, we didn't even know we were going to do vinyl at the beginning. We started releasing singles online, and it was really cool to just see the feedback. First from our normal fans, our regular fans that like our fiddling and our violin playing, and then new people coming in, getting introduced to what we were doing with our vocals and our new songs. And that kind of led us to, not only have them online on the DSPs, but to actually do a physical CD and then the vinyl. Basically, we kind of wanted to beautify our merch table on the road. You know, we've got the little CDs, and we were going to concentrate on that. It's like, well, if we did vinyl on this project, they're so beautiful, and we kind of went bananas on the gatefold and the inner sleeve and everything. But it kind of just ties in with the art aesthetic of what we do anyway. I mean, we did this project mainly, I think, to push ourselves artistically, to see if we could, you know, find another layer of music that we hadn't tapped into yet as a duo. You know, like I said, we started with the 2 fiddles in New York City. We go to Central Park every day and skateboard.
That was really fun on this tour, just kind of going down memory lane.
Yeah.
I mean, we visited all of our favorite restaurants. Some of them are not there anymore, unfortunately, but
Some of them
a
are
lot
there.
of them are.
Like Fiorillo's,
Oh, that's right.
which was like,
and
I
we
mean,
had it like all to ourselves.
oh yeah, one night it was like, yeah. So we spent a few days in New York City. We did our album release concert there at the listening room, the Iridium, which I have a huge history there. I used to sit in with Les Paul like 20 times on Mondays when I lived there, and even before I moved to New York. But yeah, I lived in New York for 11 years, 2 of those years with Maggie before we moved down to Charlotte. And we started our family band with Forrest and Kate over in Nashville. But that's, you know.
And they got us singing some more.
That's right. I mean, we started singing in the family band.
That's right.
And then gradually Maggie started taking more of a lead role as singer. And then it caused me to kind of want to start writing some songs for Maggie to sing. And then we even wrote one together.
That's right. Our Mondays with Mark and Maggie during the pandemic was it was a lot like this, where we would be filming from our living room, and we did 70 in a row. We didn't plan on that in the first place, but nobody planned on the pandemic. It just kept going, so we had to keep playing things, and so that's what led to this project. All this new music, we needed some new material. Was really cool too. It was like really full. I love the energy in there. It was you actually also used to be a horse stable way back in the day. It's like a historic place, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, it's really old.
And Maggie's totally into horses.
Yes.
We've got horses on the artwork.
The song we wrote together, Ride Towards Home, is about the horses. And I love that on the tour too, where people will just come up to me and like show me pictures of their horse. You know, like all of us horse lovers kind of unite with that song. And yeah, I love, that's my favorite part, I think, when we're on the road, is connecting with people, and you're doing something on stage that just inspires them to share something about themselves with you, and you just get to know people on a deeper level than just, you know, hi, how are you? It's like, you know, you get to know a little bit about their lives.
Over the course of this whole project, we got, I think, just better on our instruments at the same time, because we were really focused.
Amazing what practice does,
you know,
right? You're just playing every other night.
And bringing in all these instruments into the recording too. Like there's, I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but this is an old French guitar. This makes its appearance on the Stevie Wonder song, Love's in Need of Love Today, that we did.
Yes.
So that has a prominent role there. There's the mandocello right over here. And that's practically on every song. Actually, two of our secret ingredients to the production. By the way, the album is all acoustic. So even the bass is upright acoustic. The drums are acoustic, percussion, of course. And then the mandocello and then the viola, which is slightly out of frame, but you might be able to see it. It's right up there. Those are kind of our secret ingredients in the production. They're like on every song, but sometimes you can't really identify them. They're kind of like in the mix.
It's like a little special spice.
Yeah.
That adds a little warmth. We're giving away the secret now.
I didn't know this was going to happen. So like, this is the Billboard chart this week, and we are number 2 bluegrass in the Billboard magazine.
It's nice because it's like, no 2 and there's 2 of us.
And
it's perfect.
We're up here with some really cool folks, some friends.
Oh yeah.
Actually good friends.
I know. This is amazing.
So we've got
Mark's worked so hard.
I know. Bela Fleck and Chick Corea are right here. Of course, Chick Corea died a few years ago. I got to play with him, a big hero of mine. And then Marty Stewart right here in the top 5. And of course, Marty, well, I write about him in my memoir as a kid. We were like the 2 kids in the bluegrass scene growing up. I was 12 and he was 15. I was playing with Jim and Jesse and the Virginia Boys, and he was playing with Lester Flatt and the Nashville Grass. So Marty Stewart's right there. And then our good friends, Darren and Brooke Aldrich,
yes,
are at the top of this chart. And like us, they're a couple. They work together and sing and play beautifully. And so we just love them. And the great Molly Tuttle is also in this. So this was really a surprise. Number 2 in the Billboard Bluegrass chart. And just a few weeks before this, our album was in the top 10, actually number 7 of the Billboard Classical Crossover chart. And that totally blew my mind. So I guess, it's one thing when you go into the studio and you're, roping in some big names, like we've recorded with Zach Brown before, so if he's like, his name is on our album, well, you can kind of guess that's going to get a little bit more attention, and certainly I've done some big high profile collaborations, but this album is kind of like us, just you and I. We did have some great help in the studio though. Some of the finest session players of this era. On bass, we had Dennis Crouch, unbelievable. And on drums, John Gardner. And we locked into the grooves of these songs. And I don't know if you know this, those fans already who have listened to this album, but Maggie sang on those live tracks during the sessions in Nashville, and those were all keeper vocals. So you're listening to us playing and singing live in the studio.
Well, you guys were just so good that I had to do well.
I think Maggie was inspired by Dennis and John, and we had great engineering.
Yes.
Neil Capolino. And Neil, we had worked together with him before with our family band, who engineered our Grammy winning O'Connor Band album, Coming Home. And then we drafted him back in for ours. And he was incredible. Matter of fact, I mean, one of the studio tricks that we did to get this guitar, you know, on the tracks, is we put 2 old Neumanns of mine about 3 feet out from this guitar. 1, 2, like that. And it's just a huge sound. You know,
there's so many beautiful flourishes you do. I think one time you said it's almost like a piano, the way you're approaching the guitar. And I mean, sometimes you sound like a whole symphony when you're just playing solo. You can do these big chords, but then you go into these flourishes, you know. But that's incorporated a lot throughout the album, and they just kind of come out in these beautiful flashes.
I mean, I worked hard to do the rhythm thing, but also throw in some arpeggios and cross picking.
Loading the car every day, and then he goes and he plays the show, and there's some guitar solos in there that are just slamming. These are heavy gauge strings. It's like piano wire, basically. It's like really thick.
Heavy gauge.
And yeah, it was quite. We're in good shape, I think.
Yeah, well,
to be able to do that.
We went up to 70 pounds on the bags. A little inside trivia. So we've been flying one airline this entire time. And we've built up so many miles and perks on this airline, American Airlines, that we got upgraded for this whole run, the whole album release.
Yeah,
tour.
we got spoiled.
So we got to go from 50 to 70 on the bags.
Yeah, that really helped.
And because we were out there for a while, and we had to pack some records.
Yeah,
and
we were gone for at least a month.
So I had to lift those things everywhere.
Yeah.
But I got good. I mean, I got, it was a good workout.
Yeah.
And it got me in shape.
I'm just very thankful that you were able to play every show.
One of my favorite times was playing in Chicago, and we had some really good friends there in the audience, including the violin virtuoso Rachel Barton Pine, and her prodigy daughter, who's also this violinist on her way to a career. She's only 12. They were sitting right there, and I felt like, if we were going to play well, this would be a good time to play well, because Rachel's right there. But but the little girl, I mean, she's like, I remember when I was 12, and I'm sure you had the same memories, like you're just soaking up everything.
Oh yeah.
Like
very
the impact.
impressionable.
I know, like we really need to play well just for that 12-year-old girl. But by that time of the tour, we were so tuned into our set and everything, and Rachel wrote us a note after it, and she commented on that. She said, it's like so much deeper, our collaboration that she's ever witnessed before. And she's seen us play. So it feels good to know that musicians are seeing our development as we keep trying to peel back the layers and find the essence of what we do as musicians and artists.
And it's really nice that she said all those beautiful things too, because that was a show where I also forgot the lyrics for a second. I don't know what happened. It was the weirdest thing, but it hadn't happened the whole rest of the shows, but on that song, Spice of Life has a lot of words. And so we were coming back in to the next verse, and I was thinking, man, yeah, this is feeling really good. And then I just blanked. It was like blank. And then you were so great. You just kind of waited for me, and then you kind of started vamping on the next chord.
Just waiting.
And then you're just smiling, and I just came back in, and the whole audience was like.
It was a song that I co-wrote with Jim Parker, a veteran Nashville songwriter.
Which we got to visit. We got to play for him at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
He was right there
in the audience, and that was really fun to visit.
And he brought Gary Nicholson with him.
Yes.
Who's like a Hall of Fame songwriter.
And we got to have lunch with them, and Jeff Fasano, a great photographer who he also took some pictures.
Great photos Oh man.
I loved playing for all of them too, having them in the audience. Just
Jeff Fasano's got this great coffee table book of beautiful photos he's taken of musicians.
In fact, and we are in it. There's the O'Connor band.
Yeah.
And then the page right next to us, when you open the book, is Joe Henry, which Mark co-wrote 3 songs on our new album with Joe Henry. So it felt a little bit like destiny.
It's a great book.
The universe just speaks to you in so many ways if you just pay attention. You just have good fun.
And that's what we're doing, Americana music. Like that's what we've been calling it. Even though we're on the bluegrass chart, bluegrass has kind of become a catch-all word for a lot of different types of acoustic music. And it's a chart that makes sense for Billboard for us.
But we also do classical too, so it's just hard to put us in a category sometimes.
Jazz,
which
and
can
swing.
be like, all in
and blues.
all in the show. Like we do all of that in the show.
Yeah.
And so it's
fiddle tunes.
Sometimes when we're on these charts, it's like I don't really know where we would belong.
I know. We're probably not Americana either, but I love that word because
we're not America's the melting pot.
I know. And I've been telling people for a long time, when they ask, like, what do you do? I go, well, American music. Because when you add up all the genres that are our favorite genres to play, even our classical music, it really is termed American classical. Because even though, my writing, my composing, I'm inspired by Beethoven and Bach, but equally as much Aaron Copland and George
speaking
Gershwin.
of that, it was fun to walk by Carnegie Hall when we were in New York because we're going to be there in a year from now playing, is it?
Beethoven and bluegrass.
Yes.
At Carnegie
Because we do
Hall.
Bach and bluegrass too, so I didn't know, I forgot which one it was. It's Beethoven and bluegrass.
And we used to live 2 blocks away from Carnegie Hall in New York City, Maggie and I. And there was a bust of Bela Bartok on the wall facing the sidewalk as you come out of our building. So we walked by there and took a picture with Bela Bartok, and he's a big inspiration. I wrote a series of string quartets, and I think about Bartok.
And plus on our first album together, Duo, we were compared to, our duos were compared to Bartok's duos. By
the curator and director of the conservatory in Hungary, where Bela Bartok is from, which really had a lot of emphasis about pedagogy and violin education. So, and we do, like we were talking about the O'Connor method, the series of books.
And we had O'Connor method students coming to the shows, which is also really cool. I just love,
always.
I mean, they're fans from all different eras of your career, but also people from the method. And then there were a lot of people that were completely new. But I love when the method students come and we get to see them in their hometown, because sometimes we usually see them at our camp in Charlotte, because people come from all over the place. But we get to go to their towns too, and we get to see them on their turf, which is really fun. Yeah,
so we bring our music education with us wherever we go. And I just love the blend that we're able to do now with our instruments, the idea of American music, and expanding our own artistic sphere.
And also just just like telling our own story, I think, and just doing things for that feel like it's really just about us being ourselves and sharing that with you. That's really what we're trying to do. And life after life just has so many different meanings for us. It's like, I mean, Mark had lived a whole 5 lifetimes before we even met. And then even within our time together, these past 10 years, we've gone through so many different phases of life.
Yeah.
It's life just so many different chapters that just kind of tumble at you and overlap, and you know, life can be messy, but that's what's so inspiring about it, and you just have to kind of accept it and embrace it.
It's an appropriate title for us.
Yeah, it really is, and it's about our journey together.
And that's why we named it the Life After Life, I think, because the whole album and the songs are all about life and love, and loving life, and learning to love life again, renewal, especially coming out of the pandemic, where, you know, a lot of people were scared and there was such loss. And so these songs helped us get through the process of writing them, workshopping them on our online shows every Monday, fine-tuning them with the hopes that we could get them to the point where we could record them.
Yeah, and it's the life after life I mean, I never would have imagined I'd be doing a vocal album with Mark O'Connor. Like, I would have never believed you if you told me that,
never imagined
20 years ago.
I'd be writing a vocal album, writing songs for my wife, Maggie, to sing lead on, and then producing one from start to finish. I've produced a few songs out there, usually co-produced.
And the things that people are saying about the album too, just the genuine just reactions, it's just so heartwarming to know that it's really touching people and it's impacting them the ways that we hoped it would. A lot of people say it's a really happy album, which is, you know, you don't always hear a lot of happy albums, especially lately. So I'm really glad to kind of have this little light, you know, in our corner of the world that's shining out and reaching people. And
actually, the very first song that kind of started this whole project was a song that was very happy. It was a song about my daughter Autumn, one sun ray at a time. And it was a melody that had been around. I'd been working on that melody and words to it in the past, and I was thinking about my son, who's much older than Autumn. And then I kind of looked at it again through the lens of little Autumn, who she was around 9 during the pandemic. And that's really started because it was something so personal, but also so relatable. You know, every parent watching their daughter grow up can hopefully relate to this song. Started to kind of get the idea that this is an album about love, but not necessarily romantic love, but every other kind of love. Love of horses, love of watching a child grow up.
I mean, there's some romance in there, don't worry. But it's really, yeah, it's all enveloping love. And,
but we do return to the fiddles for the very final song on the album. And it's a very, very deeply felt piece from Ukraine. And we learned that piece online from some of the violinists from the Kiev Orchestra. And we were just mesmerized by this melody. And we wanted to put it together and record that out of our love for our Ukrainian brothers and sisters who are fighting for their freedom. And so it really just, Joe Henry's poetry that I was able to use on several of the songs really speak to life's chapters, taking leaps of faith, testing faith, and finding love and finding how to love life again.
There's also songs about loving yourself, like Dolly Parton's Wildflowers.
The love that Dolly Parton showed us when we sent her our version of that song.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That was before we actually started releasing any singles. So we kind of knew that we had a little bit of magic dust going into this project when we, finished the production. And we got that song to Dolly through her producer, through a music friend who was in her group, then her producer, and then she heard it. She wrote us this beautiful note, and we were at a show.
She said she was proud of us.
Proud of us.
It was just so amazing.
Yeah.
I cried.
I know, and we
so
were
cool.
literally going
so
on
kind
stage.
of her to take the time to do that.
Oh, I know. I know.
Another person that was it was neat to see Jane Monheit in New York, your good friend. We saw that she was playing there while we were still in town, and so we went to see her at the Smoke Jazz Club, and that was really cool. But she has been really supportive of our new project, singing together, and really gave us a boost of confidence that I think we needed right at the right time.
She loves Maggie's voice.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
And
She's one of my favorite singers.
Jane Monheit is an
ever.
Excellent jazz singer.
Excellent.
I mean, one of the best. Some of you might remember that we recorded together. She was on one of my Hot Swing albums. And when we started releasing these singles, Jane was one of the first people to comment on our Instagram.
Yeah.
She was following us on Instagram.
We didn't have a lot of followers, but we had quality followers.
We had her listening as we built.
She was just so amazing to just take the time and send us a little note saying that she liked what we were doing and she loved my voice, and I just couldn't believe it. I literally fell over when I read that.
Yeah.
It was just the timing, because it can be, intimidating, and we were in Nashville at the time, and like everybody sings in Nashville and plays a lot of Americana music is there, and it can be overwhelming and just feeling like I don't know if I really belong, and then to just have her send that little note was just so cool.
Well, it's been great. It's been really rewarding doing Life After Life album, the album release tour.
And thank you everybody that's been listening, commenting about it, and buying the albums at the shows and online. It's just been so cool.
And doing the music videos
Yes.
was an exceptional thing to do for us, because all of our original songs, we did music videos, and they were directed by my son, Forrest O'Connor, who
he's amazing.
has a beautiful eye for music when he's behind that camera, and he knows our music so well.
And this photo is from the video. It's literally a screenshot from the music video. I mean, all these shots were just so beautiful that you could just take a picture of the shot, and it was great photography.
I love tying in our recording with our live performance as a duo, playing through that single microphone,
Yeah.
and then releasing all these music videos so people can actually see, oh, it's Maggie singing. Oh my goodness, it's Mark singing harmony
Oh,
with
you can
Maggie.
see who's doing what.
You know?
Yeah. Well, you know, because Mark actually does play violin on the album, and viola. And
Yeah.
I actually play some cello on the album too. I mean, there's just a lot of layers in the recording, but it's all centered around our duo. So all of what we play as a duo is on every song, and then we kind of built around that with all these acoustic instruments.
One of the ideas about the production is to have all the solos be Maggie and I, but Maggie on the fiddle, me on the guitar. Then when I play the fiddle, it's when Maggie is not playing and she's singing. So you hear my fiddle behind Maggie's voice, which kind of throws me back to my days of being a session player in Nashville when I used to do that for a living.
Another life after life.
That's right. All those sessions playing with a lot of female vocal artists as well, including Dolly Parton.
That's funny because when I chose Wildflowers, the song, to learn, I was just checking out some more Dolly Parton songs, and I loved the message of that song. I was just really related to it, and I thought it was so inspiring to learn how to thrive no matter what life throws at you. Just plant your roots and do the best you can, no matter how far away from home you end up. And so I just loved the message of that. And as I was listening to the words over and over to try to start internalizing it, Mark yells from the other room, "You know who's on the fiddle on that recording, right?" And it was him. I thought I liked the fiddle on there.
Another life after life moment.
Yeah.
For our project. We hope you love the album Life After Life, and it's been great talking to you about our process and how we got here and how we're celebrating our new music with you.
Thank you for listening.